everyone, my name is Alora, and today I'm going to be presenting the proposition that social media is the main cause of anorexia for teenage girls. So I'm going to be supporting my proposition with two separate claims. The first is going to be that the internet negatively influences people considering an eating disorder, and the second claim is going to be that models used in the media to promote products are commonly the catalyst for eating disorders. So going back to my first claim, being that the internet negatively influences people considering an eating disorder, I just want to basically narrow down the internet to pro-anorexia websites, and they're more commonly known as pro-ana websites. And these are used by young girls for tips on how to develop eating disorders. According to Jennifer Van Pelt of Social Work Today, 96% of teens that visited pro-ana websites and were later diagnosed with an eating disorder said that they did find new tips and tricks on how to purge and diet. So with such a high percentage, it's showing that these websites are extremely effective in teaching these girls how to develop their eating disorders. Another type of the websites are called thinspiration blogs, and they're also shortened to thinspo blogs. And in an article posted by ABC News, Liz Nabrint stated that the main thinspo website is prettythin.com, and that website reaches 280,000 page views a day. So I personally visited the website, and I found one of the blogs had up to 110 tips on how to develop an eating disorder or anorexia. And the tips range from anywhere to drinking a lot of water and chewing sugar-free gum to putting a rubber band around your wrist, and whenever you feel hungry to snap the rubber band in order to start the association of hunger with pain. And another one of them was informing these young girls that when they start to get into the serious stages of their eating disorder, that their nails will start to yellow and thin. So it was telling them to always have on nail polish and to wear acrylic fingernails, especially when they're going to their doctor appointments in order to hide this. So it's giving them not only resources on how to develop their eating disorder, it's helping them maintain it and hide it. And so it's completely not for people that are looking for treatment, it's only for girls who are looking to develop their disorder and how to keep it. So without these websites, the resources would be much less. You don't go to the library and look up a book for how to develop an eating disorder. So it's basically just on the internet. That brings me to my second claim, which is that models used in the media to promote products are commonly the catalyst for eating disorders. Vogue magazine just recently chose Giselle Bündchen as their model of the year because she deviated from what they called the rail thin model look, when in reality she is 5'11" and she only weighs 115 pounds, which puts her 25% below what her healthy weight should be. So by them saying that she is not rail thin, when in reality she is 25% below what her real healthy weight should be, it's giving mixed signals to these girls who are looking at her, because if she's supposed to be healthy but in reality she's underweight, then they might think the same thing about themselves. So according to HuffPost, Susan Albler said, although thin models are not the cause of eating disorders, they can trigger or be a factor of maintaining a disorder. So basically what she was saying is that by looking at a skinny model, you're not all of a sudden going to become anorexic, but if you're feeling self-conscious about yourself and you're feeling bad about yourself and you're looking at these models, it could spark an eating disorder. According to Radar Programs, today the average model weighs 23% less than the average woman, and the majority of plus-size models on agency rosters range from a size 16 to a 14. So this is basically telling these young girls that being beautiful and being perfect is being unhealthy and underweight, and it's telling them that being a plus-size model or being big is only having a 27-inch waist. So it's both on really opposite sides of the spectrum, but they're not really giving a clear representation of what a good, healthy model is. And the South Carolina Department of Mental Health stated that 50% of girls between the ages of 11 and 13 see themselves as overweight or have the fear of becoming overweight. And 95% of those who have eating disorders are between the ages of 12 and 25. So it's basically striking the youth, and it's basically telling them that these models that they look at who are supposed to be perfect and healthy actually have disorders themselves. So it's giving them a blurred line of what they should be looking up to and what should be ideal to them, because if these ideals are actually unhealthy, it's completely confusing them and leaving them with a fuzzy line. So in conclusion, the media's influence both online and in the portrayal of women are not only promoting anorexia, but they are providing resources that make maintaining an eating disorder a simple act for young girls. Thank you.
It died. What was the time, please?
5 minutes and 17 seconds.
Thank you. All right, Alora, you do a nice job stating what your claim is from the beginning and focusing on social media. I think that's an interesting perspective on it. The sites that you mentioned on the first point, that's just damn creepy stuff, you know, that's going on there. And I'm very thankful I'd never heard of them before, and I wish I hadn't heard of them before, even now. I did think that there's a little bit of an issue here. For instance, you've got that one statistic early on that says 96% of the girls who visit those sites then develop these anorexic disorders. You know, I think that there's a possibility that they develop those disorders, and that's why they're going to the site. So you know, I don't know. We're going to talk about cause-effect relationships later on, and this would be one of those examples: which is the cause and which is the effect? Do they go to the site and then become anorexic, or are they anorexic and they go to the site? You know, it's just one of those kinds of things. So, and I was worried about it that you went to the site. I thought, oh my God, you know, if your statistics accurate, you're screwed. You know, you're going to be in big trouble here. So, you know, you got to worry about that. Like I said, I don't know anything about those sites. It sounds relatively new, and anorexia, of course, is not new. And so if there was some substantial difference between the levels of anorexia that we have now, since social media, particularly websites, have been developed, and what was before, that I think would strengthen that particular argument. The second argument is the more traditional argument, the influence of, you know, social media modeling and that sort of thing being a trigger. And the idea that it is a trigger, I think, is an important point to make, because that there are complicated causal relationships that are going on here, and you're not in essence saying that this is, you know, girls see models and say, you know, I'm a fat ass and I'm going to become anorexic. But it's part of that process. The question then becomes, how important a part of that process would if there was a different depiction of women in the media, would that mediate it or change it in any way? How, you know, what kind of contribution does it make? Not quite clear, you know, and it's one of those abstract areas that I think is always going to be problematic when people make arguments in this field. I thought you did a nice job presenting to the audience, and like I said, I thought you stuck to the structure pretty well. You also did a good job citing information, although there were a couple of times when I wondered how old the information was. So I usually got the quotes and the statistics and all that information, but I don't always know. I think there was one reference to a particular time period, but it sounded like an older time period. Although Giselle apparently won the award this last year. You know.